These dudes supposedly want to have children. They do not want to parent these children that they help create. So this woman posted in the Am I Overreacting subreddit. She says, Am I overreacting because my husband won't watch our baby while I'm gone? I'm going to cover up the update. We'll come back to the update in just a moment. It says original post. So she's 36, he's 39. She says, I'm going out of town for a few days. My husband refuses to watch the baby while I'm gone. He basically said I could just take her, and the baby is 9 months. I could just take her with me. And I could, but he's her dad, and I'm at a loss as to why he won't watch her for 4 days. My best friend offered to watch her, and he would rather the baby stay with her an hour away than to watch her on his own. Safe to say, I'm not too happy about it, and we've had some words, just not sure they were strong enough. Am I overreacting? She says, edited to add, we've spoken countless times on this, and he says, she scares me, but he's had 9 months to step up and hasn't. It feels more to me that he feels trapped when he's watching her and can't do his own thing. We both work full time. Baby is in daycare during the day. I am the primary breadwinner, not said out of malice, just fact. Also, I've had some speculation that I'm a bot, but unfortunately I'm not. This is my real life. She says, update. As you can see from some of my comments, my husband and I have tried counseling. We did it for over a year, but I think we had the wrong counselor. They ended up being very buddy-buddy, so I have signed up for online counseling, and I'm going to see if there's any changes with that. I am also going to reaffirm boundaries and expectations. I not only want to be happy and have my baby happy and healthy, but I also want him to be a successful parent. And that's the thing. That's the thing. And this is why I am team let the birth rate plummet to hell. Because these dudes will act like they want these kids. They will. They will be like, let's do this. Let's get married. They don't act like they like their wives. They don't want to parent their own children. What would happen if this woman got sick and it was debilitating for a little while? What if she was, unfortunately no longer here? I'm not going to wish anything like that. But he is incapable. So many of these people are incapable. And it always falls on the women. Like she was saying that he would be perfectly fine with her friend watching their baby because he just will not do it, even though there is childcare available. He would just have to parent his own child for, the nighttime shifts and putting the baby to bed and cleaning up the baby and all of that. But for a good chunk of hours, the child is in daycare. And for the other chunk of time is a baby. The baby will go to sleep and all of that good stuff. But you have to take the initiative to do some of this stuff. And these people refuse to do anything. So that's another reason why I will continue to say, let the birth rate plummet to hell. I originally took some of these screenshots yesterday while this was a very fresh post. So Humorous Cheese says, not overreacting. If your husband won't take care of his own child, why are you married to him? Especially after knowing now that she is the primary breadwinner. She could take her and her baby out of the picture, hire a nanny, and get more use out than her husband because her husband is inept and not useful. He's worse than furniture with eyes because at least furniture with eyes would have a purpose. What purpose does this husband serve? All right, I'm sorry. How could you still love a man that would treat you and your child this way? That's a real question. You might as well be a single mom instead of a married single mom. I would immediately fall out of love with my husband if he ever said this. My husband and I worked opposite shifts, so he took care of our daughters every day that I worked from 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. He cooked them dinner. He bathed them. He took them to the park. He took them to the beach for picnics. This is what you deserve, OP. Unexpected Cougar says, I have always been a married single mom. Now I'm separated. Life is easier. KD Did says, I had my first child as a single mom. Sperm donor deserted us just before the baby came. And my second while married. Number one was 1,000 times easier, partly because I had no one to resent for being unhelpful. Dang. Morbid Nerd said, I had no one to resent for being unhateful, for being unhelpful. And she says, I'm going to file that in the back of my brain for later because that's the realest thing. Traditional ad says, I raised 2 kids by myself, but I knew it was easier alone than to have some man around who wouldn't help. That would drive me crazy. Bipolar Libra says, many such cases of women realizing post-divorce that they were actually taking care of 2 children. Okay, Appearance. I'm so glad that so many people are talking about the married single mom phenomenon. Okay, Appearance says, married single mom is a real thing. Mikey says, one less baby to take care of. Jay Murphy says, it's always easier when you don't have to carry the dead weight. The OP says, I've been questioning it all lately. And then this person says, OP, for real, he would actually rather have someone completely unrelated take care of his infant child. You are severely underreacting, in my opinion. This story is crazy, and your calm reaction is also crazy. What if you died during this work trip in a freak accident? Your own husband wouldn't want your baby. You'd have to come back from the dead to write a will, leaving your infant to your parents or your friend while your husband moves on real fast. If I were you, I wouldn't go on this trip at all. I would not be leaving baby with a friend, as that encourages your husband's behavior. Pause all the work or whatever's going on and move out immediately. You need to read this story out loud to yourself and imagine it's not your life. Imagine you read about it in the news. Woman leaves on work trip, has to send 9-month-old baby to stay with the friend while father stays home alone. Wouldn't you think it was bonkers? At what point is it just child abandonment with extra steps? There's bad parents, and then there's your husband. It's an instant divorce if that happened to me. I think I'd be shocked at first, but then I'd be concerned over the safety of my child. Your husband clearly hasn't bonded and doesn't love this kid at all, and that is the really concerning part. Dark Huntress says, you should. My husband and I have had some serious rough patches in our marriage. We have almost divorced more than once. Through all of that and whatever we went through, he was always consistently a wonderful dad. I went out of town for 2 weeks, partially for work, partially for fun, and he had them the entire time. Zero complaints, almost no questions asked, and he didn't even bug me, just kept telling me to have a good time and focus on me. We have 3 kids. He's never begrudged me time away. I'm so sorry your husband is like this. I'm sure it hurts, but you and your daughter deserve better. Okay, Mountain Girl has some questions. She says, did he even want to be a dad? Was this an accident? Those are serious questions, not snarky. I didn't want you to think that. Now, it honestly could be that he's scarceless, that he feels like he's incapable and doesn't know the first thing about babies. And guys like this somehow think we just know, which is the most asinine thing I've ever heard of, because no, we just don't know how to take care of babies. We don't just know how to take care of kids. We don't just know how to take care of old folks. What we do is learn. We are attentive to what works and what doesn't. When it comes to soothing our children, we understand that our babies don't know what they're doing either. So if we just allow ourselves to get to know them as individual little people, because that's what they are, then we will figure out that putting our baby on the tummy across our knees while supporting their head and patting their back works with this baby. Or this baby doesn't settle unless we're rocking or walking. Or there's a white noise machine. We just pay attention and learn. But no, you're not overreacting to the fact that your husband thinks other people should take care of this child when he's perfectly available and perfectly capable. So if he's got something else going on, like he really is scared to death, then he effing needs to tell you instead of making you feel like some sort of single parent. I wanted to get to this part before closing out. The OP says, by all accounts, the only thing he wanted in life was a baby. He has told me he's scared, but how do you overcome fear without just doing it? He expected me to just do it. So he wanted this child. They talked about having babies, but he just wants to be inept. I'm so tired of these people being able to just shift everything to the woman. As y'all can hear from my voice, I am tired of what these husbands lump onto their wives. I'm tired that of the fact that men can opt in and out of parenthood. They can just say, nope, I don't want to do it. Let the birth rate plummet to hell. Make these people lonelier. Blindside this person. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. We have a malfunctioning wife appliance. She's asking this question: how do I get my husband to pick up his Obviously, as a wife appliance, you're supposed to follow behind them and pick them up like you are a human Roomba, but let's at least look at the post. Okay, TLDR. Married many years, I'm pregnant with our first, and he has always asked me to be a stay-at-home wife. Before we met, he was somehow able to maintain order, and now Everything is a mess. Since I'm not working, I think it's fine. I do most of the house chores. I am adamant that he, at minimum, should maintain adult autonomy and be helpful. What I mean by that is that I should not have to chase around a 36-year-old man to pick up his clothes off the floor and put them in the hamper as if he were a child. I have even gone so far as to put the hamper in our bedroom and in his office so that it's literally in two places he is in the most and should not be an issue. Still, his clothes are everywhere. I'm happy to wash the clothes, dry them, fold them, put them away. I don't mind. Like I said, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have the time. I do find it hugely disrespectful that I have to fight with him to remind him to do what I consider a basic adult function that I would expect from any child over the age of 10. Every time we talk about it, he rolls his eyes and say, I always complain. The reality is that I have to continuously get on him for 3 to 5 specific issues that he never fixes. I have finally told him if it's not in a hamper, it will not get washed, but I doubt that will do any good. Any ideas? Because I'm one Amazon click away from buying fart spray and spritzing the clothing he leaves out in an awful war of attrition until he cracks. But I am certain that will start a whole separate fight. I want to come back up to this part. Every time we talk about it, he rolls his eyes and says, I always complains. So this is for the people that say, why don't you communicate? They are not mind readers. Did you ask him to do it? Did you give him a list? She says they talk about 3 to 5 things. He does not listen. He rolls his eyes. So when he gets blindsided, he's going to be, oh my God, she left me because I left some socks on the floor. And people are going to be like, did you talk to him? Did you talk to him? But he's going to be blindsided. She's already fed up. And their child is not here. She's pregnant. She's pregnant and the child is not here. So once sleep deprivation kicks in, once she's chasing around a baby, once she's cleaning up, poop from all over the place, once the baby is teething and can't sleep, she's going to still be chasing around her 36-year-old or 37-year-old adult toddler, and she's going to get tired of it. This is not sustainable. These dudes have got to come into reality that they do not have an actual wife appliance, and they have to participate in their home. Yes, you have a stay-at-home wife. Fabulous. But it is disrespectful to just forget how to do all things because you have, somebody at home. Come on now. We all can do our part. Even if you're not doing the deep cleaning or whatnot, we can all still do our part and be respectful. I think about it like this. Even when we go to a hotel, me and my family, before we go out, we're picking things up. We're not leaving everything in a complete disarray because we are respectful. Some people just don't have common courtesy and manners, and it's disgusting. Blindside these types. All right, let's check out some of the comments. Astro Ruggy says, leave his clothes on the ground. Next time you make the laundry, only wash what's inside the hamper. When he runs out of stuff to wear, he'll notice. The person at the bottom, this man says, I came here to say that. Springfield says, exactly. That's what I do with my kids. They soon learn. 23 Gear says, solid recommendation. Tiny Ad says, this doesn't help with her problem though, which is her stress levels rising and her blood boiling every time she sees the clothes on the ground. This is one of those things that's been studied. The jury is out whether this is a biological thing or a cultural thing. Cortisol is a stress hormone. Women's cortisol level spikes in response to messiness in their living space. The act of cleaning that space reduces cortisol. Men's cortisol level moves a little in response to messiness in their living space, but is much less. But the thing that really spikes men's cortisol level is the act of cleaning itself. This is one of those differences between men and women where both sides struggle to empathize with the other. Women generally can't understand a man just not noticing and being completely unfazed by something like clothes on the floor. Men, on the other hand, usually just don't see what the big deal is. That said, as an adult man, you should absolutely be picking your clothes and putting them where they're supposed to go, cortisol or not. And that's some BS right there, because it's not even about the mess right there on the floor. Why does it have to get to that point? Why not just take it off and put it in the hamper as you go? He's talking about cleaning up. Okay, so why not just
not just throw stuff on the ground. Has that been studied? Has it been studied why these people can't just function? And this is the reason why so many women are saying nope and opting out completely, because why should someone have to deal with this and chase somebody around? Suspicious Earthling, who's a woman, says, do you have a source for this? Because frankly, I don't believe you. This sounds super made up. And here's the OP chiming in saying, this is fascinating. I legitimately didn't know that. The weird part is he has said to me in the past that when stuff is messy, it drives him crazy. And he then asked me to please help tidy up his room/office, which I'm happy to do on occasion, but I'm not going to clean up after him like a maid. I'm happy to go in there, wash the clothes, etc. But can someone please explain to me why, if this bothers him so badly, he can't do what I feel is the bare minimum to keep it neat? Again, this is not an issue with me being above cleaning the house. This is an issue with, can you not maintain order? So this is an easier task. And then when you get home, your space is not a mess of your own creating. Even though this was under the Ask Men advice, it was open to everyone. So I did actually jump on the post. Y'all should know this bothers me to no end. And since this was open to everybody, I did chime in. I said, this won't get better. It'll only get worse. You're a wife appliance and he has you as a utility to serve him. We see this in the in the marriage and relationship subs daily. And it's going to get worse once the baby is here and sleep deprivation kicks in and you're juggling your new addition. He's going to throw on the floor. And as a wife appliance, you're supposed to chase him around like you're a human Roomba. That's where we are right now. That's where she is right now. She's going to get even more bitter and resentful because she's speaking now. But once she stops speaking, once she just quietly just picks it up and he thinks, yes, finally, she stops nagging. That's when she is going to check out, become bitter, and start executing a plan to go back to work and leave his butt. All right, y'all. Go ahead, chime in. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. I really want women to have a sense of self-preservation, and I really want them to love themselves more than they love these relationships that they're in, because being single is better than this. I was sent this post, and I'm like, definitely have to do this because WTF. She posted this in the relationship advice subreddit. That the title alone should have you saying, girl, just leave. Sis, just leave. She says, I, 31-year-old woman, founded STi and HIV prescriptions for my husband, who's 38. You found an STi and HIV prescription. Come on now. Beyonce, Jesus, and Buddha. What the heck? What the hellio? Our cat got sick recently. I thought the box that was clearly labeled with prescriptions could be our cat's medication, so I opened it. Instead, when I opened the box, I found 2 prescriptions labeled under my husband's name. I wouldn't have thought anything of it, but one of the prescriptions said to take after sex. We had recently been talking about fertility, and I was wondering if it had something to do with that. And I was mortified to find out it was essentially meds for STIs and HIV. When I confronted him about this, he claims to have no idea where they came from, nor that he ordered them. But when I asked him to call the pharmacy to see if it was insurance fraud, he didn't seem to be too bothered to investigate. I feel like he's cheating. I have no STIs or HIV. We've known each other for 15 years, so I feel like I know if he had either two. Any thoughts? The medication I found were Descovy and doxycycline. Any thoughts? Y'all chime in with your thoughts. My thoughts are, sis, please leave. Just open your eyes. If you have a prescription, it's in your husband's name. What pharmacy is just sending out prescriptions with random people's names? Like, John Smith might need some HIV prevention or HIV medicines. Please stop this. No more benefits of the doubt. Doubt their benefits, period. Because this is your life, this is your health, this is your life. Please don't leave it up to them. Have a sense of self-preservation. Love yourself more than a relationship, because being single is better than this. Icy Cantaloupe says, you found prescriptions for HIV PrEP and an antibiotic that can treat STIs with his name on the bottle and he denies it. Who else would it have been? He must think you're stupid. The proof is literally in writing on the bottle. Don't be naive. We're waving red flags. Snowy Bird says, that's what I'm saying. He's claiming he doesn't know how they got in their house with his name on them. This person at the bottom says, check the prescription bottle and see when it was filled also. Ladybug says, don't you know pharmacies like giving away expensive meds to random people for no reason? OP needs to get herself tested. Lucky Bunny says, to be fair, I picked up my meds yesterday and was given a bottle of olanzapine that wasn't mine. It has my name on it and everything, even showed up on my app, but I have never heard of the prescribing doctor. Of course, I just called the pharmacy about it instead of hiding it in my dog's medicine box. Get It says, the solution to finding out if he knew about the meds is to count the pills in the bottle to see if he's actually been taking the HIV meds. If not, then maybe he's in the clear. If he's been taking them, his goose is cooked. This person towards the middle says their pharmacy, Mr. Gower, is constantly messing up the prescription. I feel like that's an inside joke. Here's the OP. She says, so, I don't even know where to go with this one. I just confronted him about it after reading all of these. Hard. He got incredibly defensive, and we ended up having to take the morning off work. After a long time of yelling, he told me that when he went to the spa, K-Spa, a few weeks ago, he was touched by a man and that he was too scared or frozen to tell the guy to stop. Okay, he usually goes to that spa quite often, but hasn't been back for about 3 weeks now. And that lines up with about the time I found the medication 2 weeks ago. I still don't know what to think. I asked him why he didn't tell the man to stop. He said he was scared. I asked him why he didn't report it or tell me. He said it's different for men and he was embarrassed and ashamed. Think he's still BSing me or think he actually went through this. Whew. That's a tough one because he didn't come clean about it, but I don't know because I don't know. He's yelling, he's being defensive. I don't know what to think of this one. The person at the bottom says, girl, he was banging a man. Toxic Big says, where was the medicine hidden? Under the bed, a closet, cabinet, nightstand, car, shoebox? I'm really curious. How could he dismiss this as if it's not in the house with his name on it? And she says, it was in the box in the mail. I thought it was a prescription medication for our cat, an asthma inhaler. Rebecca says, how bold of him to have it shipped to your home. Was there a company name on the box/label? I don't know, y'all. What do you think about this explanation? Do you believe him? Do you not believe him? I don't know. I'm going to go with doubt their benefits. That's where I stand, but I don't know. Y'all go ahead and weigh in on this one.
Also very dangerous is this medication, ibuprofen. This drug will make brunettes cross-eyed. No, I do not have any proof for that. You're just gonna have to trust me. However, if you are a brunette and you like to look forward, I strongly recommend that you do not use this medication. Next, we have this medication, loratadine. I do not know who that is. It is more commonly known as Claritine. This dangerous drug can cause horrendous nighttime anal itching. I strongly recommend that no one takes this drug unless they want to wake up with stinky fingers. Lastly, we have this over-the-counter medication, famotidine, more commonly known as Pepcid, not to be confused with the delicious carbonated beverage Pepsi. However, this dangerous drug causes rapid nipple hair growth in men over 27. And while that may sound benign to some, it can be highly dangerous when engaging in sports.
I was tagged in this Threads post. This content creator is called Tell a Secret, and this is story 715. This person says, my husband and I have had the same argument every few months for at least 6 years. Always about him not showing his emotions and being reclusive. Lately, I've been feeling so lonely. I told him we should consider separation, and now he has decided to seek help. I have completely detached myself from him. I resent him. I don't want to be intimate with him. I love him, but not the way I used to. I don't want to try anymore. I babysat his emotions for several years. I want out. He still had a chance when she was asking for more, when she was asking for support and love and all of that. Once she went quiet, that's when it was pretty much over. That's when she left him emotionally because she was trying to protect herself and create a game plan to get out of there physically. By the time a woman goes quiet and finally asks for a separation, there's no coming back from it. When the men start asking for counseling, there's no coming back from that at that particular point. But because I think that these people have it in their brains that there's always going to be an argument, or it's going to be drama. It's going to be throwing glasses and hollering and crying. How could you do this? But no, once a woman goes quiet about things, it is over with. There's no coming back from it. And that's why he is now blindsided or, struggling to figure out how he could change things around and trying to do CPR on a dead relationship. This screenshot from Linda is spot on. It says, for every man blindsided by divorce, there was a wife that told him exactly where it was heading and what he could do to fix it for years. And that's absolutely spot on. And this person at the bottom says, if only they had listened seriously. They don't, because they don't think that the woman will pick up and leave. They really think that they could just do whatever for however long, treat their wives however, not offer mutual support, love, care, reciprocity, not check in, not participate in the home. The woman will be like, I need X, Y, and Z, and the dude would be like, no, 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 no. By the time she says it's time to separate, it's time to divorce, then magically they can do X, Y, and Z. It's like magic. And by that time, the woman is apathetic about the situation and completely done. Wendy says, dear lady, I was you, 20 years married and dead inside, years of begging, hoping, praying. I caught him in something and knew it was my leverage to get him out. He begged on his knees, 2 kids, no skills. My body screamed, this is your moment. 20 years later, at 67, married to the love of my life. Just do it. Marie says, he won't change. He's getting help because you're threatening to leave. Once things get back to normal, he will be the same. Been there, done that for 20 years. Leave. Meow Lisa says, I second this. Leave. From personal experience, this happened to me. Was with someone for 11 years. Every time I suggested how unhappy I was due to the same nature, he wouldn't make an effort until he saw I was ready to leave. I would be fooled into thinking it was a permanent change, and then months would go by and he would return back to his normal and his toxic habits. Believe me, who he is showing you to be now, he will continue to be. If he wanted to change and was seriously about it, he would have. Marie says, and really, some people can't change. They are doing the best that they can considering their upbringing. A counselor suggested this to me once. I didn't like to hear it yet. It was true. In the end, I wasn't mad at him anymore. I knew he couldn't give me what I needed. I actually knew it when I walked down the aisle. People are who they are. Meow Lisa says exactly, as you said, for some it's embedded and deeply rooted within them to behave in the way that they do due to not having intervention for a long time. And then Marie says, another thing that hit me straight between the eyes is a book called Adult Children of Emotionally Divorced Parents, which my ex's parents were. One chapter said, if he's as messed up as you say he is, 1, why did you pick him? And 2, why are you still with him? That's when I started looking at myself. Eye-opening. MLA Artist says, yeah, some of these guys are real charlatans and give quite a performance, and they can keep the mask on for years. Don't completely blame yourself. Give yourself some grace. Sausage Mom says, I'm going to be a bit controversial here. I'm 29 years into my second marriage. We're brought up to believe that you should stay in a marriage, but the rules are based on a premise long outdated. Please don't stay in a relationship where your partner refuses to meet you halfway. It's futile and will only make you unhappy. That is not controversial. Many of us say, girl, just leave him. Just leave. That is not controversial. Terrence says, that's what happens. You outgrow his immaturity and his unwillingness to introspect and do better for himself and his family. It shouldn't have to reach a point of you considering separation before he does something about it. And then Dormy at the bottom says, divorce him or annul. Life is too short to be wasted. Life is too short to be wasted. Yes, please stop. Once you see that you're not getting what you want, after you ask, after you plead a little bit, then you're like, I bet we are not in alignment, and being single is better than this. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one.
I know some of you are freaking out because the rapture didn't take you today. I'm here to tell you to take a deep breath and calm down and let you know that the African priest who made these predictions said that it's going to happen either today or tomorrow. So we have at least approximately 36 hours. So you have some time to prepare. Listen, nobody wants this more than us, okay? We want you gone. And I don't know, I think the world is going to be a better place without you guys in it. So this is giving you additional time to prepare. So what I want you to do is actually go to my link tree in my bio and press that button that says Cash App. You can actually send me money. Cash App me some money. Usually I only request $5 at a time because I'm not greedy. I just want coffee on a daily basis. But you, since you're leaving this earth forever, you can give me a lot more than just the $5. That's all I gotta say. And I wish you luck. I'm just wondering if this is American Jesus, right? And it's on Eastern Standard Time when he's supposed to come. I'm so confused. Because Australia is probably going to be in their other day, right? The 24th. Pretty soon. Bye now.